If you want desire, lust, sexual intensity, then this play is for you. So keep watching to find out what play is our book review about today. Alright, hello again. So I kind of never did plays before, but I really appreciate and love this one, and it's A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams. And from the cover, you could already guess the meaning and the path we're going to explore. But of course, before we start with the content, we have to explore a bit of the writer's background, the context, and what's going on in the plot, and of course my feedback and review and the movie, because there is a movie with this one. So the events of the play kind of happen post-war, sort of like the 1947 or those years. And of course we know that after wars, things change. Ideas, philosophies, and a lot of values change. And I'm mentioning this because you're going to see a big reflection about social mobility and social statuses that have changed due to the war or post-war, and values. And I'm telling you this because I'm going to dive into it more within the explanation of the plot. Okay, so that's for the context. Now let's go to the writer, Tennessee Williams, born in 1911 and passed away in 1983. Tennessee Williams wrote a lot of good plays. He was a playwright, a famous playwright, and upon his most famous plays like The Glass Menagerie, Baby Doll, and many, many plays. This is the only play I read by him. I'm hoping that I will read more, but I love this play so much. I did it for academic purposes, but I really enjoyed it. So, like I said, Tennessee Williams was born in Mississippi, United States. He wrote a lot of plays, and growing up, he had some tension with his father because his father was not so accepting when it came to his career as a writer. Instead, he wanted him to become just like him, a clerkman, a salesman, and that's it. And obviously, that did not work. And he actually dropped out of journalism because his father pulled him from university and wanted him to become a salesman instead. So you see how that went. But then he showed so many aptitudes and he showed skill, and that even got him his Pulitzer Prize through the play A Streetcar Named Desire. And now to my favorite part, the plot. So, the plot. Alright, so we have two sisters, Blanche, or Blanche if we're going to follow the American accent, and Stella, and also their French last name, DuBois, or in American we say DuBois. But I like DuBois more, so I don't know. I think I'm gonna keep DuBois. Anywho, the beginning of the play starts with Blanche coming into the place where her sister Stella moves, because they have been separated a long time ago, and Blanche is going to spend some time, or live actually, with her sister and her brother-in-law Stella Kowalski. Now, of course, why the sudden move and why the sudden change is very important, and it will be discussed, but I will let that to you to find out why did Blanche come to live with her sister and her brother-in-law. Now, there are like major differences from the beginning. We see that Blanche is like this aristocratic, bourgeois kind of woman that takes care of herself. She is very outspoken. She's an English teacher. She has a set of values and all of that. And Stella, who is married to this ex-soldier who is now a salesman, auto parts, and he's like wild, masculine and muscular and all of that. And you can see already the differences between the two sisters. Then again, Stella doesn't buy into the bourgeoisie or the act that Blanche is putting on. And you'll have to find out what happens in the end. Anywho, I won't speak more about this because, like, it's going to be a spoiler, but let me tell you that it's just the whole purpose of this story, the whole atmosphere of this story is about lust and the sexual atmosphere and sexual identity perhaps, and sexual intensity and atmosphere, and you feel that a lot throughout, and it's shown in different ways throughout these different characters, because like I said, Stanley is muscular, so he shows animal-like powers, while Stella is like also sexual, but she gets the product of this sexual activity through her husband, and they get a baby. And then we have Blanche. Again, I won't say how is her sexuality proven or shown. You'll have to read the play. I mean, come on, it's short. It's like really short. So I tell you, you have nothing to do, just read the story. Yeah. And now to my favorite part, because I really loved this movie. I really adored this movie. It was released in 1951. It's black and white, but it's beautiful, and it stars the dashing Marlon Brando as Stanley. So it's beautiful to watch, I tell you. And of course there's a lot of symbolism throughout this. I mean, this is me going back to the story and also the movie because they're the same. But if you notice as well that there's Blanche and Stella, now Blanche is the name Blanche as in white in French, so that's kinda contradictory because you'll find out more why that's like symbolic. Stella, she's the star that shines. You'll also see how that happens. So yeah, it's really very symbolic as well. Lots of symbolism in this play. Anywho, moving back to the movie. So the movie is beautiful, and it was for me a good journey because not only do I enjoy black and white, and I kind of enjoyed that kind of acting in the 40s, from 20s to 50s. So for me, that was a beautiful movie. But I also felt awkwardness, and I also felt a sense of eeriness going on, whether I was reading the novel or also especially watching the movie, because I felt there was a sense of strangeness going on when I read and I watched the story. Because when you see it, it's more provocative and it's more strange, and let's say, I don't know, it creates some sort of like a feeling of uneasiness going on in this story. And you'll perhaps get me or perhaps not. This is why I'm telling you, give me your feedback. Tell me, what did you feel reading or watching the story of A Streetcar Named Desire? Again, a reference to the whole plot. Yeah, so that's my review. I'm not going to dwell more on this story. You have to read it and understand it, and then tell me your feedback about it. So, see you in another book or play review.